Well, the governor just announced that this would be his last regularly scheduled news conference on COVID-19. Of course, this has been going on since the 1st of March. But of course, he will be continuing to update the numbers daily. And of course, we'll be continually updating that too. Some of you are probably very happy about that you won't have to watch the governor daily anymore. Of course, he's been slacking off a little bit. We've had mixed reaction come in about whether we carry these news conferences or not. But again, that was the last regularly scheduled news conference. Of course, if there are any major changes, he said, he may change that up. But as of now, that's the last time we'll have the governor on live at 4 o'clock for the immediate future anyway. Just to recap, a lot was covered today in this news conference. We felt it was important to bring it all to you today because there was updates on schools reopening, unemployment. He talked about App Harvest in the announcement today with Agritech. We'll have much more on that coming up in our newscast. But if you missed the latest case numbers, which he started off with today, 229 new cases of COVID-19, 14,363 total now. More than 368,000 tests have been done. There's only one new death today. There were 11 yesterday, only one new death today, and that was actually a Laurel County death that we had already reported earlier in the week. Many times the governor doesn't report cases until a day or two after we get the information from the health department. So one new death reported by the governor today, 538 total deaths, 342 of those are from long-term facilities. The governor also made it a point to mention that numerous cases now in Kentucky and other states are connected to an outbreak in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, obviously a popular vacation spot for many here in eastern Kentucky. There have been some cases here in eastern Kentucky connected to beach areas, and not only in Myrtle Beach, but down in Florida as well. So that continues to be an issue. We'll have more on COVID-19 as we go along here. We're going to be going an hour and a half now with our newscast, and let's begin with the school reopening. You heard more information released about that in the governor's news conference. An announcement was also made earlier today about how Hazard Independent Schools will move forward with classes in the fall. WYMT's Madison Pergram has more on their plan.
Hazard Independent Schools announced a reopening plan for the fall, saying that kids will go back to school 5 days a week starting August 6th. Sandra Combs and other school leaders held a Facebook Live to announce a plan that included safety measures such as temperature checks, changing how students eat school meals, thoroughly sanitizing, and social distancing. Sandra Combs, superintendent of Hazard Independent Schools, says students and staff will also wear masks 5 years or older.
There will be times where the mask will not be worn. For example, if a teacher is presenting the lesson and students, which we have our classrooms set up with desks 6 feet apart, students are listening to the teacher, they can take their mask off and lay it on the desk. So there will be times throughout the day where they will not have to wear the mask.
Combs says that not all school districts are the same, and being a smaller district will allow them to do things larger districts cannot do. She also says that the plan will probably change several times before school starts. For now in Hazard, Madison Pergram, WYMT Mountain News.
We'll have more details and reaction to the reopening plan coming up at 6. And you might have just watched Governor Beshear's update on coronavirus cases in Kentucky, but how is the rest of the country holding up? Well, not as well as Kentucky in many areas. Health officials say the U.S. has seen a surge of cases, the highest level in 2 months. Yesterday, the U.S. reported 34,700 new cases. That is more than any single day increase since April 25th. In one instance, 17 high school students from Ohio tested positive for the virus after a recent trip to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. With recreation centers slowly reopening, a new building in the city of Pikeville is finally unveiling all it has to offer. WYMT's Buddy Forbes went to the Pikeville YMCA to check out the new wellness center, which also houses the city's new pool.
With its recently complete expansion, the Pikeville Area Family YMCA is letting the community take a dip in something new. The pool is now open. The YMCA's partnership with the city of Pikeville has come to life. The new wellness center is offering 6 lanes for lap swimmers to put to use. The center, which broke ground last year, will eventually serve as a community pool. But it is currently being utilized by appointment only to allow people to get in a little no-impact cardio. Executive Director Shelley Justice Fouts says the YMCA is happy to offer this facility to the area.
Well, it's been really great to get members in here who kind of watched it from the outside in, really watching it change. And, we've heard for a while that this is something that we've wanted in our community.
Fouts says the center is not only good for the YMCA, but for the community as a whole. She says the pool will also be used by high school and college swim teams. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The center was originally expected to open in May, but the pandemic forced a later opening. We'll hear more from Fouts about the Wellness Center coming up at 5:30.
Saw that sunshine return today. Well, we've seen that mixture kind of sun and clouds throughout the day. A few scattered rain chances, but overall it hasn't been too bad out there. Temperatures a little bit on that cooler side. We'll go ahead and take you up to a few of those cameras though as we look over into UVA-wise at that UVA-wise camera. That mixture of sun and clouds, maybe a stray shower or two in the distance, looked a little bit gloomy at times, but overall not too bad. Looking over into downtown Whitesburg, mixture of sun and clouds over there, so still seeing some clouds with some peaks of sunshine. 79 degrees. Dew points, check it out, mid to upper 50s, so feeling pretty comfortable out there. Not too much on the muggy side compared to the past few days. All of us though are into about the upper 70s to lower 80s. Cooler and wise in Jackson. I think Jackson's seeing a little bit of a shower right now. 72 degrees, 75 in Pikeville, 81 though down into Williamsburg, so it is a little bit more on that warmer side. I think we saw some showers move through parts of Jackson earlier, seeing just a few pop-up showers and maybe a few thunderstorms throughout the area, but overall not looking too bad. I know we're seeing some showers move across I-75 from Jackson County into Owsley County a little bit, and even Somerset got hit with some stray showers, but most of those have been and even a little bit into northern Laurel County. But like I said, they've just been stray showers, nothing too bad. We're going to continue to see those nice conditions for your Thursday. We'll start to see a few more rain chances heading into the weekend. We could even see those soggy conditions return by the end of the weekend and into the new work week. I'll have more details on that coming up in a little bit.
All right, Paige, thank you. A 6-year-old boy is dead after an apparent bathtub drowning in Laurel County. It happened last night at a house off Kentucky 1006, just south of London. Deputies say the mother found the boy in the bathtub and called 911. The coroner's office pronounced the boy dead at the scene. We are told police believe the drowning is accidental. The boy's body was sent to Frankfort for an autopsy to determine the official cause of death. Governor Andy Beshear announced a new partnership with a Dutch company that he says will help stabilize the U.S. food supply and create hundreds of eastern Kentucky jobs. Beshear said the public-private partnership will be a springboard off the App Harvest endeavor that is building a major tomato greenhouse in Rowan County. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more from Frankfort on what the governor had to say.
App Harvest is currently building a 2.8 million square foot tomato greenhouse that is going to be in eastern Kentucky in the Moorhead area. And its CEO says it's going to change the playbook on how the eastern United States gets its tomato supply. That CEO and Governor Beshear says the job market is itching in eastern Kentucky because of the loss of coal jobs. The governor said Kentucky is making a major step forward with agri-tech jobs ranging from doctor-level salaries to $13 an hour entry-level jobs with full benefits. Already the Moorhead skyline is changing, and what the company official says is an energy-efficient and state-of-the-art tomato greenhouse. CEO Jonathan Webb calls it the future of farming. And Rocky Atkins said, what is a great day for Kentucky is an unbelievable day for eastern Kentucky.
And to know that the Dutch government is looking at Kentucky to bring that infrastructure here to create the other companies that maybe make the steel or make the type of equipment that has to go in these facilities to build here in eastern Kentucky and throughout Kentucky.
And App Harvest is already planning on about 285 jobs, and Rocky Atkins says not only will it help people who lost jobs in the coal industry, but also those in the rail and steel industries. In Frankfurtville, Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The App Harvest CEO says the reason why tomatoes are so important is that right now the eastern seaboard depends on Mexico for millions of pounds of tomatoes each year. Now, I interviewed Governor Beshear and App Harvest CEO Jonathan Webb earlier this afternoon, and we went much more in depth about agri-tech, and I also talked to the governor about COVID-19, unemployment, and the primary election and looking ahead to November. We have just posted that full interview. It's about 15 minutes long. You can find it now on WYMT.com. Well, primary election day may be over, but the work for county clerks is not. Some are still scanning absentee mail-in ballots, and we are not expecting final results until next Tuesday. WYMT's Will Puckett caught up with one clerk and has more.
Well, yesterday was the last day that those mail-in ballots could be postmarked. That means that county clerks are now waiting until the 27th to tally all of the votes and send them to Frankfort. Here in Johnson County, they mailed out about 3,500 paper ballots, and today they have processed 2,873. County Clerk Sally Holbrook says while it's a lot of work on the clerks, it can't be as stressful as it is on candidates who are waiting those final results.
It's not going to be, any more work for us other than, we just have to wait for the ballots to come in. But I know for the candidates, it's going to be a lot of anticipation and waiting. So if I were a candidate, I would be, it would be really hard to wait to know the final results.
Holbrook said she didn't know what to expect exactly yesterday. Johnson County had 1,200 people vote early. They saw more than 700 people vote in person yesterday, and there are 18,000 people registered to vote in the county. In Johnson County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Holbrook says this was an above-average turnout for an election, especially with no county-wide races. A man in Laurel County is accused of assaulting his girlfriend and leaving her unconscious on a roadway yesterday. This is 50-year-old Thomas Baker. Deputies say following the assault, Baker drove 10 miles to London before turning around and returning to where he left the victim. When he arrived, deputies say a person was providing assistance to his girlfriend. Baker is then accused of leaving the scene again, but was found and arrested. He is facing charges of assault and wanton endangerment. We do know the victim was treated at the scene and then flown to UK hospital with serious injuries. The FBI says NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace was not the target of a hate crime. Wallace says he is relieved to learn a noose found in his garage bay at Talladega Superspeedway was not meant for him. The noose had been there for several months. Earlier this month, Wallace successfully called for a ban of the Confederate flag and has since become an activist for the sport.
We'll just keep moving on. We'll keep pushing the needle and fighting for what's right in this sport, and I'll continue to stand proudly where I am.
Wallace says he is looking forward to getting behind the wheel and competing this weekend at Pocono Raceway. He says he has received death threats because of his activism, and NASCAR has assigned him security. We'll be right back.